Sairam children, welcome back to our science class. So today we are going to continue the lesson 3, that is fiber to fabrics. And today we are going to go through an interesting story of history of clothing. So children, before we start the lesson, so can you tell me, when do you look very smart and handsome and beautiful? Yes, that is when we wear clothes. So when we wear good clothes, so we look beautiful and we'll feel very confident and we look handsome. So we all like to wear clothes, which is very fashionable. So today we are going to learn about the history of clothing, how the clothes were invented and how it became fashionable in today's video. So the topic is history of clothing in the lesson fiber to fabrics. So children, now have a look on the slide. So what can you remember after seeing this slide? So can you tell me who is he? Yes, he is the early human. So what is he wearing? He is wearing something very hard and very thick. So you must have learned in standard 3 what do the early humans wear as clothes. So it appears that in those times people used barks of trees, big leaves, animal skin and fur to cover themselves. So this is the history of clothing starts from the early human day. So do you know that there was a time that there were no clothes at all? So early humans was not wearing the clothes. And exactly we don't know that when human beings started wearing the clothes. But once they invented the clothes, there were a lot of fashions and lot of ideas emerged in them, and it developed as fast and it became so colorful everywhere. So people say something that clothes almost 500 years back it was invented. So early humans originated from Africa. So when the weather was mostly pleasant, so where you can actually survive with no clothes. So in Africa, the weather was very pleasant and you can actually survive with no clothes. But where the early humans started traveling from one place to another, so he started adventuring out of this Africa, and there he found some places were very cold. Now in the beginning the early humans were not having the clothes, means he was not wearing the clothes. Now he came to the coldest region and now he started shivering and he was feeling very cold. So what the scientists suggest that humans invented clothing to save themselves from this cold, this bitter cold, which actually makes some sense. So if it is cold, if you also feel cold, so what will you do? So we quickly take the blanket or the sweater, we just cover ourselves to make our body warm. So here also human being, the early human started covering himself with some animal skin. So from where did he get that animal skin? So early man used his intelligence to make tools and weapons using materials like stones and wood. So he started making the sharp weapons and tools. And with the help of that tools, he started hunting the animals. Uh, the animals which was hairy. And he removed the skin of those animals and he started using as clothes just by wrapping his body. And they use the skin of these animals to make the primitive clothes. So they took the skin of these animals and wrapped themselves to get the warmth and to keep themselves warm. So you can see in the slide so how they hunt with the sharp tools and weapons. So there were very big huge hairy animals. So they started hunting. So you can see in this slide that early humans how they are hunting the animals. So after they kill the animals, they remove the skin of that animals and they just wrap around themselves to protect themselves from the cold. And yes, here you can see the how the early humans are, he is making his tools and weapons. So he used these tools and weapons to make the holes in the animal skin. And so why did he make the holes? Because he just wrapped the skin of the animals around his body. Now he made the holes and he took the strands of the animal skins and he just inserted in that and he made the clothes tight to around his body. So here you can see how he has made the holes in the skin of the hairy animals and how the animal skin fitted in his body, and he also covered his foot also. Now he can protect himself from the cold. And the next one is history of clothing material. Now, after he started wearing the animal skins, so he was also using, as I said, big leaves, barks, animal skins and fur to cover themselves. Now, slowly he started making holes and cover his body. And then when the early humans started settling in one place, so he settled near the rivers so that he can find the water, and slowly he started cultivating, that is he started growing the crops near the river Ganga. So he planted the flax plant which gives the natural fibers. In ancient Egypt, cotton as well as flax were cultivated near the river Nile and were used for making fabrics. So yes, this is the flax plant where he cultivated near the river Ganga. So from this plant, some fibers they got it and they used and they started weaving that fibers and made some clothes in from that flax plant. And in the ancient times, stitching was not known to the people. So people, what they did, there was no tailoring and they don't know the stitching. So people simply draped the fabrics around their body in many different ways. So for example, sari, dhoti, lungi and turban. They just take the fabrics and they just drape themselves around their body. So with the invention of the, yes, you can see in this picture, so dhoti, turban is there and they wear the saris in different ways. And here you can see the lungis also. So that time the stitching was not known to them. So simply they drape the fabrics around the different parts of their body. So in many different ways of draping fabrics were used. And slowly after the invention of sewing needle, that is, what do we use for stitching the clothes? Yes, needle. So with a sewing machine, sewing needles was invented. So people started stitching fabrics to make clothes. A large variety exists in fabrics and clothing items. So here slowly they invented the sewing machine and large variety of fabrics was invented that time and they started stitching the clothes. And here after the people began to settle in one place, the early humans also learned the weaving, that is stitching of clothes. Before he learned the stitching of clothes, he was just weaving the baskets, like baskets with the grass and with the twigs. So he started with the help of twigs and grasses into baskets. He made a lot of variety of baskets and with the help of, yes, dry grass leaves, he started making the mats. See how he has weaved? So before he was stitching the clothes, the early humans invented all these. So with the vines, animal fleas and hair, he twisted the together to make the long strands so that he can tie it very strongly. So this is how their fabrics was invented and they started stitching. So the early Indians wore fabrics made out of cotton that grew in the region near the river. So there were many types of clothes was invented after that. So stitched clothes have gone through many variations since this invention. But is it not amazing that even today that we wear this type of clothes? So have you ever seen people wearing dhotis like this? Yes, we have seen nowadays also people wearing dhotis, saris, lungis and turbans. And the early humans also learned to dye the clothes. That is, he started making colorful clothes and here the fashion was invented, and so he made the clothes very colorful. So he learned to figure out how to make clothes using different colors too. He extracted some colors from plants and applied to the clothes. And he also discovered the concept of dyeing the clothes, means the different colors the clothes were dyed. So this made the clothes very colorful, and suddenly they were colorful everywhere, and people started experimenting with colors, and fashion was born that time. And they started making designs in the clothes, and people started experimenting all over the world to how to invent the fashionable clothes. And people have enough knowledge of variety of fabrics, colors, and lot of designs were invented on clothes, and people started picking up all over the world. So finally we have now a very fashionable clothes like colorful frocks, jeans, tops. So whatever you wanted, we can wear it. So because everywhere colorful and fashion. So fashion was born. So a large variety exists in fabrics. So not only we have large variety of food that has been eaten all over the country, but also a large variety of clothes or fabrics also exist in nowadays. Fabrics also exist, and a lot of variety of clothing items also exist nowadays. And now let's read the summary of the lesson. So the first point, so what we learned in our first part of the video. So there is a variety of clothing material or fabrics such as cotton, silk, wool and polyester. And fabrics are made from yarn, which is in turn are made from fibers. So fibers are either natural or synthetic. Cotton, wool, silk and jute are some natural fibers, while nylon and polyester are some examples of synthetic fibers. And fibers like cotton and jute are obtained from plants. I hope you remember all these points, children, what we learned in the first video. So the process of making yarn from fibers is called spinning. So we learned what is called spinning also. And also we learned ginning, and we also learned what is called ginning, weaving, knitting. So all this we learned in our second part of the video, and how knitting is done, and and today we had learned about the history of clothing materials, that is how the clothes was invented and how it became the fashionable. So this is the end of our video of this lesson, children, and the assignment is given. So with the help of these videos, part 1, 2 and 3, you can complete the assignments, and in the next video we'll have some revision and the notes will be given. So until then, stay home and stay safe. Bye bye, children. Thank you.